All right, welcome to Real Estate vs. Technology. I'm your host, Norman Kinsey. We have our co-host, Mr. Dan Gandy. Welcome, Dan.
Thanks for having me.
Of course. And we have a native here of Arizona area. Welcome to Real Estate vs. Technology. Well, you'll get the inside scoop from top producing real estate professionals all around the country, best practices, techniques, and learn about what technology they're using to drive to ensure their success in this world we call real estate. I just moved with my wife, Caitlin. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. I'm excited to chat with you guys.
Yeah, of course. We know that you're a new agent and you're doing some pretty cool things, and we love how you're already taking advantage of video. We have your Facebook business page behind us, but let's go ahead and deep dive a little bit more into your story, and then we'll get into some more technical things as well in your business. So what areas do you serve, how long you've been in the business, and what kind of made you get into the business? They all kind of go together there.
Yeah. So I serve mainly the Phoenix area, which is a very vast area, as I'm sure you now know. So there's a lot of suburbs surrounding Phoenix. I try to focus mainly Phoenix and Scottsdale, but to be honest, I go wherever I gotta go. So that's where I focus. I got into the business because I always wanted to run my own business. I was a corporate recruiter for 8 years and worked in corporate, and really was just sick of having a boss, and decided I wanted to kind of take the bull by the horns and, jump into running my own business. And I had just sold our house and bought a new house with a realtor. So I experienced the process, and I thought, this is a great business to get into with low overhead. You can start it on your own, and you have a ton of autonomy to do, what you want to do. So I decided to take the leap and do that about 2 years ago, and so glad I did. I've never looked back. There hasn't been an option to go back because I can't go back at this point. I would be miserable. So yeah, that's kind of my story on how I got into it.
That's so cool. I love that. Like, I see how you're doing it. I think I could do this, and then you jump in. That's cool. That's a good story.
Got to jump in the deep end. That's awesome.
Yeah.
And then let's deep dive into your business. How many transactions have you done career to date? Let's start there.
Whoa, that's a good question. Let's see. I did, so in my first year, I did 12 transactions. Wow. Granted, I was on a team, so I had a lot of support, but and that was helpful. But the majority of the leads were mine, which I'm very proud of. Year to date, to be honest with you, I think I'm around 30. I'm not sure off the top of my head. I've done 15 this year so far. Last calendar year, I did, I think, 11. So I'm on track to more than double last year, which is awesome. And yeah, so hopefully the momentum keeps going.
Yeah. Even with COVID in your second year in the business, I mean, there's no excuses. I love that. That is awesome.
And then what specific types of technology would you say are the biggest factors to that success that you're utilizing within your business that everyone should take listen to?
Yeah, video is huge. And it took me a year to actually do it. I remember I went to a seminar where they were talking about a YouTube channel, and I was like, yeah, I'm going to do that. And then 4 months later, I still hadn't done it. I went to another seminar, and the person was talking about starting a YouTube channel, and I was like, okay, this is my message. I need to do this. So it took me a long time to do it. So my first year was a lot more, leads from my sphere, and then some leads from the team. And I used to cold call. And then after a year of that misery, I decided to start making video and really go full force into social. So, I have a YouTube channel. I do a lot on Instagram. I also have my Facebook business page, which is very similar to Instagram, but I find that I connect with more people on Instagram than I do on Facebook. So those are kind of the main things in terms of technology. It's any social platform. I've been doing TikTok also, but my YouTube channel is probably kind of the base of that, and then I try to, incorporate everything else social.
That's great. And then let's deep dive a little bit into the YouTube channel. What type of content are you pushing out? What do you see the highest engagement on? Is there any specific strategies where you lock into a specific area or a content type, and then you like to drive people to that page? Why don't you give us a little rundown there?
Yeah, well, you know, as an agent, everyone tells you to come from a place of education, right? That's where they always say to start, whether that's door knocking, calling, you know, mailers, whatever. The traditional way to connect with people is to educate them. So I try to keep that same concept, but put it into video. So I've gotten into a cadence where I post weekly videos on my YouTube channel, and they can be about anything related to real estate, whether it's what is escrow or how long does it take to buy a house, or if it's here's the Moon Valley neighborhood, you know, here's all the things you can do around the area, that type of thing. But then I started doing monthly market updates as well. So I give an update on the Phoenix real estate market monthly. And then when COVID started and I didn't have a whole lot of places to go, I started doing weekly updates because things were changing so fast and everyone was asking questions about, are we going to have a crash? What's going on? What's happening with prices? So I started creating a weekly update, and that's how my IGTV was formed. So now I cross post my IGTV weekly updates to my YouTube channel. So, and then I have my weekly YouTube video as well. So I end up posting twice a week on YouTube now. And it's all just around education, and market updates tend to be the thing that I get the most traction on. I don't know if people are just searching like Phoenix real estate market, or I don't know, buying real estate or whatever, but somehow that always gets the most views. It also gets the most haters and the most comments. So
haters are good. Know. It helps engagement.
Yes, it does. So, yep.
That's good. That's good to hear. And it sounds like you have a solid video strategy that other agents can take some of those topics and really run with it. One other question before we deep dive back into Norman. With video, what do you see is going to be something that you try that you haven't been doing? That's been kind of like, I want to get into this different type of video, but I haven't done it yet.
Yeah. I think that neighborhood tours are probably very valuable for a lot of home buyers. And I haven't done as much of that as I'd like, just because it is a little bit more involved. You got to get in your car and drive around, and, you know, then the tripod thing doesn't work well, and you know, have a dirty windshield and it looks like crap. And, you know, I've done a few of them and it is a lot more labor intensive, but I do think that people moving from out of state really want to see, like, what does it look like in Gilbert or, you know, Phoenix or whatever. So I would like to do a little bit more of that. I know a lot of people have success like interviewing local businesses and doing things like that, which I would like to do more of too. But I just haven't had, I guess, as much time or motivation. It's a lot easier to put out a video just talking about something versus actually having to go out and film a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Thanks for sharing that.
Yeah, and I love how you were very nimble. You had this process, you're in this lane, and then you were quick to adapt and move into another lane, and then actually use it as a positive thing for your business. And instead of posting one YouTube video, you have 2 YouTube videos, and you're already thinking about what's next. So that's really, really cool for our listeners and viewers to really take in consideration, because video is so key in 2020. And
that's 104 videos a year to all of our listeners. So when you look at 52 videos, or you look at 100, like whatever it is, every other week, or 12 a year, right? If you can just start with, let me shoot one once a month. Let me get it down. Let me get the mechanics down. Let me get the editing down. And then you can slowly progress to 2, 3, 4, 8 a month, whatever it is. I think that's what agents really need to focus in on, is start with baby steps. It's a compounding effect, because if you reach back out to us in a year from now, you're going to have a YouTube channel with way more content, way more organic SEO, and way more Instagram cross promotion that's going to happen that most people don't even compete with. So that's great.
And you just have to consider it your prospecting, you know, like we're taught you never give up your prospecting time. If you cold call between 7 and 9 a.m., you do not schedule a listing appointment at that time. That's, you know, the traditional, like, this is my prospecting time and no one will change that. And it's the same concept. I make a video once a week, no one will change that. And if I'm shooting the video from my office at 7:30 at night and I'm editing it at 6 the next morning, it is what it is. It's your commitment to your prospecting on a weekly basis.
I love that.
Time block, time block, time block.
Yep.
Yeah.
And congratulations to your success with that and really moving in that direction and doing what you're doing and leading by example, really. Because I think that it's just like we learn from our children. Well, now it's like we're learning from the newer agents coming in that are like yourself, that's having quick, massive success and adapting to this technology that's really serving you and serving your business, which is great. So we now have an idea of the last 2 years. Where do you see your business in the next 5 years? Where do you see yourself?
That's a really good question. And I struggle with that because I don't, I want to continue the success. I don't necessarily see myself as a team leader. I managed people in corporate and I'll leave that there. That's why I'm here by myself. I think that there's a lot of opportunity in the industry, which was one of the reasons why I wanted to move into this. And at the time, Open Door, OfferPad were becoming a lot more prominent here in Phoenix. And it was like kind of cool to think like, wow, there's all this technology you could use to sell a house. Like, how else would this industry be innovated, I guess? I don't even think that's a word, but how else do you do that? And so that one of my reasons of getting into real estate, aside from really liking real estate and wanting to build my own, was I think more opportunity because obviously people are paying attention to this, aside from just the traditional things. And so I'm not sure what that is yet, but I could definitely see myself forming a new business with state, whether it's technically focused or risk focused or something. That's kind of my goal, but for you.
There you go. I love that. That's awesome. And that's the thing. It's just like come into the business, new fresh eyes. You saw a hole, you saw the tech, and then you're like, hey, let me fill this. And I'm going to do this with this approach and cadence with videos, and you're having success from it. So that's really, really cool. So before we wrap up the show, we have a couple last questions for you. I know, Dan, you have one for her. Yep.
I think that one of the things that I think values a lot of the agents that would listen to this or watch this is really answering this question. What advice would you give to someone who just got licensed, maybe this week, yesterday, last week, whatever it is, that you say would probably be something they could carry with them for the rest of their career that is really good advice?
Number one, find a good mentor because you're going to need it. It's a lot harder than you think it is. I promise you that. Like, I hope that those words resonate with someone. It is a lot harder than you think it is. So get a good mentor. But in addition to that, I would say stay open-minded because as you get into this business, there is a lot of the same that you hear from coaches, brokers, and not to say that they're wrong, but we are at a time where things are changing a lot. Like going door to door is very irritating to many, many people out there, and a lot of people have success with it and it's excellent and it's great. But as a millennial and a newer agent, like don't let the way things should be or what you're supposed to do cloud your ability to be creative because there's a million ways to get business. So how do you reach those people? Just don't conform. Don't already silo what you have to do. Take those concepts and figure out how that would work for you, and you'll be successful if you're authentic in that way.
Wow. I love that.
That's a good one.
That's a good one for sure. And I'm hearing it more and more. Get a mentor, get someone that you can be coached by, and really to speed up that process. It seems like you've had success super quick. So for our listeners and viewers out there, definitely take note there because I think that's very powerful. Any books, podcasts, anything that you listen to or read, Caitlin, that helps you continuously move forward as well for our listeners and viewers, maybe to think about maybe reading or listening for themselves?
Yeah, and I've been slacking a little bit on the podcast lately, but it's always good to listen to things because it keeps you motivated. And I notice when I get back into it, I get even more motivated and feel more creative and all of that stuff. But in terms of books, a classic, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, is excellent. And then You Are a Badass by Jen Sincero. If you guys have read that one, that was like life-changing for me. It's such a powerful book, and it helps you stay motivated, and she has such a great story, and I truly think that that's the way you have to have your mindset to be successful. And I never realized how much mindset was important until I got into business for myself, which I'm sure you guys understand. And so finding things that help you stay motivated and clear in your mind, whether that's meditation, whether that's, all these things that I was about before, now I'm so into it, mantras and quotes and all of these things. But you really do, if you're not right in your mind, you're not going to project the right things or, be motivated to do the right things. So anything that's motivating to you, check out, and just keep audiobooks, podcasts, keep learning, reach for things that'll motivate you.
I love that. That's so true. Yeah, definitely. Being a business owner and working for yourself, it's like a totally different ballgame. You don't have someone else saying, hey, did you clock in? Hey, did you do this? Hey, did you do that? It's like, you got to be the one pushing yourself. So we're at the part of the episode now where the floor is open. So is there a project, something that you're working on, something that you want to leave for the listeners? Go ahead. The floor is yours.
There really isn't. I'm just focused on trying to continue my business and innovate more as much as possible. So, I don't really have anything to tout, I guess, but if I am happy to help, if anyone is, has questions about video, it's not like I'm the master of any of this, but I've figured out a few things that have worked for me, and I'd be happy to, give some advice to anyone that might be interested.
That's awesome. That is so cool. We'll have all your information below so they can go ahead and reach out to you, follow you on your social media channels, see what you're doing. So thank you so much, Caitlin, for being on the show today. We really appreciate it. I think there's a lot of good takeaways here that our listeners and viewers can apply to their business and get a new, fresh perspective as you're, only been in business for a couple of years and having a lot of success. So thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Yeah. Thank you for having me on. It was awesome.
Of course. Dan, thanks for co-hosting today. As always, we appreciate you.
Thank you.
And thanks to all our listeners and viewers today that tuned in. And it's our goal to be able to give back to the real estate community so you can take something and apply it to your business and have more massive success. I think a couple good takeaways from today's episode was to have the right mindset to have more success. And if you're right, have the right mind, you'll have the right success to come with that. And we'll see you on the next one.
Hope you found value. If you liked the episode, give it a thumbs up. Comment below with what you learned. And if you go ahead and subscribe and hit the notification bell, you'll be notified for new podcast episodes coming out. Now, I want to go ahead and show you, if you see here on your screen, you can click join our Facebook group page, and you can go ahead and be a member of our community page. We love to be able to share what type of technology you're using on this page. And also, if you want to go ahead and do some networking all across the country, you can go ahead and network on this Facebook group page. If you're a real estate professional, focus on a specific niche, whether it's a buyer, specific type, seller, specific type, or a specific area. We would love to hear your story and how are you growing and scaling your business using technology to focus on that demographic. And if you're a technology owner, have a technology you want to share, and you want to be featured on Real Estate vs. Technology, the podcast, all you have to go ahead and do is send us an email at reversetechtalk@gmail.com, and we'll see you on the next one.